Greetings. Welcome to day 23 on Anthony Dawn's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge 2018. Today the prompt is, what is your most sassy tarot deck? And what is your most gentle tarot deck? Why did you pick these decks? I have to say, I don't know how to answer this. I just don't know how to answer the question. I've been thinking about it for days, trying to come up with my answer. And I want to say that I really don't, I can't even make up an answer, to be honest. I don't see decks as sassy or gentle. I actually even Googled asking, maybe I was missing a term that I didn't realize about sassy tarot decks or whatever. I have to say, I think I came across some sites that I wasn't supposed to see. I wasn't really supposed to see on the internet. I hope I'm not going to be given a lot of these kind of things in my cookies or whatever. Because, but anyway, maybe I'm misinterpreting the word sassy. I think of sassy as someone, I don't even know. I can't even say. But if I'm interpreting the question correctly, I will think that the person, I would love to know who wrote this question, and maybe if I had a better idea what you meant, I would answer better. But I think they're asking what deck really tells you like it is in your face, whether you want to hear it or not. They're going to tell you. The deck is going to tell you what it needs to tell you. And the most gentle tarot deck is a deck that, oh, it might tell you you're doomed, but it's going to tell you in a really nice, gentle way so that you don't get freaked out. If that's the case, I would say I don't have any tarot decks that are gentle or sassy. I think all tarot decks are pretty much created equal. They all should. If a tarot deck is just gentle and just, I mean, my deck doesn't treat me anyway. I ask what I want to know, and the deck, it tells me what I want to know. I mean, I don't, if you don't want to know, don't ask the question. That's what I would want to say. You know, if you're worried that you're not going to succeed, and you just don't want to know, oh, I will die if I think I'm not going to succeed. Don't be asking a tarot deck if you're going to succeed, if you don't really want to know the answer. Is what I want to say. That being said, I don't want to make this a crap video. I want to try to say what I think, you know, maybe help the person out who was asking the question. But I do want to say that tarot decks do have different voices. I agree that tarot decks do have different voices. For instance, my cat tarot that I discovered a couple years ago, which has pictures of real cats, illustrations of real cats doing real cat things in cat situations. And it's really meant for cat lovers, people that understand the world of cats, really understand the behavior of cats. All of the, pretty much the Rider-Waite system is told through the eyes of a cat. And it's told in a really poignant, beautiful way. If you want to see the deck, I have several videos of it up on the playlist on my Good Wife on my channel. I think I shared that deck here earlier on. I'm not sure what day, I'm looking back at the questions, what day I might have done that, but, easy. But it has a different voice. It's not a gentler voice, it just has a different voice. It has a voice. If you're not a cat lover, you really can't, I don't think the cards would read for you very well. I don't think you'd get the vibe of the cards. So, that reads with the voice of a cat lover. If you are not somebody who appreciates the Santa Muerte, the communication with the dead, communicating with your ancestors during when the veil is thin, if you don't understand the Dia de los Muertos vibe in the predominantly Mexican culture, this deck is not going to read for you. That's the voice that comes with this deck. Okay. If you're not into druidry, you wouldn't want to read the Druid Oracle or the Druid Craft Tarot. If you're not into, walking through the wildwood, if you're not into walking in the footprints of the ancestors and communicating on that plane, the primal plane of, feet to the ground, eyes to the sky kind of thing, that's the voice of the Wildwood Tarot. If you don't have that vibe, that's not going to work for you. Something that I relate to very deeply, if I relate to it very deeply, even the harshest card in the deck is not going to read as a harsh card. Okay, I hope I haven't really given you a really bad edit here, but I wanted to stop and get the deck that I wanted to talk to you about. This is the Cat's Eye Tarot, the deck that I got for talking to the rescue people, the cat people that rescue people. And this is the kind of card that I'm talking about. This card is the Seven of Swords, equivalent of the Seven of Swords, which we just talked about in the last, which we just talked about the last, in the last video. Actually, we just talked about it in the video that you haven't seen yet tomorrow. This is so confusing. Anyway, I'm so sorry about that. I'm a little out of order. But anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this card tomorrow. But the Seven of Swords is the equivalent to the Seven of, well, we know it is. It's the man walking away in the Rider-Waite with all the swords over his shoulder, looking back. Right. This card, the voice of this deck, is meant for people who love cats. People who love cats, okay? So when they see this cat spraying a wall with urine, they see a cat that is very sad. They see a cat that has some problems. They see a cat who is trying desperately to get over something in their life that they're having a problem with. If you've ever gone into a house with cats, with a lot of cats particularly, you very well might have smelled cat urine. Cat urine, you cannot hide it. And it's kind of funny because on the surface it looks like the cat is trying to get away with something, spraying things, like a cat. The first thing a cat does when they have an issue is they're going to urinate on something, they're going to pee on something of yours, or they're going to spray. And spraying is territorial, so they'll spray a wall or they'll spray furniture or something like that. And it's horrible because cat urine, you really can't get rid of the odor. You cannot get rid of the odor. And now they have something called Nature's Miracle that you can get rid of it. The cat won't smell it, or other animals won't smell it. But other than that, it's like you have to attack it with enzymes to get rid of it, because you can think you're covering it up, but if you don't, and other cats will smell it, and then they will, if there's territorial issues, they'll spray on top of the spray, and it's a mess. If you are the person who has had cats and that has happened to you, your cats might have ended up in the shelter. That's why a lot of the cats, that's probably why most of cats are in the shelter today, or in cat rescues today, because people can't deal with that. They can't deal with this. This is horrible to deal with. But if you're a person who loves cats, and so my point is that normal person, a lot of normal people, I can't take the cat anymore, cat goes to the shelter. And a lot of times the cat is destroyed. That's the nightmare of the rescue people, because the rescue people want to try and change this behavior. What can we do to change the behavior of a cat? Most of us know that it's temporary. A cat will go through times. I have a lot of cats in my house. I'll admit I have 6 cats in my house. I didn't used to admit that, but I will now. I've got a pretty big house, though. My house, you don't notice that I have 6 cats. And several of them are quite elderly. They're quite elderly, so they really don't move too much during the course of the day. So, but from time to time I have dealt with territorial issues or behavioral issues where the cats are mad about something and they have reacted in kind with this kind of reaction. And it's not pretty, but you have to deal with the heart of it. And I know as a cat lover and a cat rescuer that there's something wrong with this kitty in the first place. And tomorrow we'll see this in this card, 2 depictions. Spoiler alert. Of the same kind in the tarot, where one is really just trying to deceive somebody else, and another card, the person themselves is maybe the one being deceived. This card, this cat trying to hide something that he cannot hide, right? He's going to be found out. He's going to be found out. So he's really not getting away with anything, is he? He's not going to get away with anything. Not going to sneak away without being caught with those swords over his shoulder. But anyway, what I was trying to say is the voice of this deck is not for the people. The voice of this deck was not written for the people. It's not speaking to the people who are going to take a cat. Oh, I know what you mean. That's a horrible thing when a cat does this, get that cat out of my house. Take it to the shelter. This is not that read. This read is meant for the people who love the cat and say, what is the cause? What, yeah, that you did a bad thing, kitty. You did a bad thing. Please don't do that anymore. I got to fix things so you don't do it that way anymore. What am I going to do? How can I fix this? That's the voice of this deck. So you see what I'm saying? If it's going to be read as a gentle deck or it's going to be read as a sassy deck, it's really up to the person reading it. It's really up to the person reading it. Think about a card that we see all the time in the Rider-Waite card. Here's one. I'm gonna just take. Oh no, it's in here. Rider-Waite. I've got decks coming out of my ears right now. I don't have that many decks, but they're all pretty much in front of me all the time because of this tarot challenge. I want to be able to reference them. Think about a card. It came out on top. One of the kind of the most disliked card by most people in this community in the Rider-Waite deck. It seems to be the Hierophant card. There's a lot of people in this community on YouTube that have bad experiences, bad church experiences, and that this card is going to represent the church, the authority of the church. A lot of people think of it in that way. It's called the Pope card by a lot of people. So if you're going to have it, if we're going to say what card reads, this is not going to be one of the gentle picks. If somebody's going to say, oh, this is not the gentle picks, by the community that I'm speaking of that left the church, the corrupt church, and whatever, they're not going to pick this for that most gentle card. But think about somebody who takes somebody who's very religious, who's very pious, who's very, the super Catholic that some of us maybe used to be, who takes great comfort in the church, great comfort in the traditions of the church, great comfort with the authority, with the father figure of the Pope over the church, the authorities, the priests. They're the ones that have the priests over to dinner, hope that their children are going to grow up to be priests. Remember those days? Remember those people? Who pass on wisdom and spiritual knowledge, who you have a problem and they go and ask the priest. They go and ask the priest, or they pray about it, to find the answers. That person, they hear this voice is a gentle voice, right? They hear a gentle voice. Whereas the rest of us are going, oh, Pope card, I don't want the hierarchy. We'd like other decks that read this, maybe show this in a different way. So when I say, to answer this question, you see, I'm a little torn. And none of my decks are sassy, none of my decks are gentle. But the cards inside, me, again, whatever voice, I think it depends on what voice that they are, what voice they're reading with. What voice they're speaking with. Should I have even stopped to answer the question? I'm not sure. I don't think I'm making that much sense. I hope I'm making some sense. I'm not trying to offend anybody who wrote the question. This one was really a toughie. It was a toughie. But still fun to try. Still fun to try. Thank you anyway for watching. Hope I make a little more sense tomorrow or yesterday, depending on when I shot the video. And I wish you blessings.